The Boeing 747 that pushes back from the gate today is carrying more than passengers. It's carrying the end of an era. Because the plane taxiing toward the runway, that unmistakable hump, those four engines, is the aircraft that, more than any other, took flying away from the wealthy few and handed it to everyone else. And now, on one of its last passenger routes, it's about to lift off for the final time. To understand why that matters, you have to go back to the 1960s, when Boeing made a bet that could have destroyed it. The company had watched air travel grow and decided the future was bigger, much bigger. They committed to building a jetliner more than twice the size of anything then in the sky. It was an enormous financial gamble, the kind that could bankrupt a company if it flopped. And Boeing wasn't even fully convinced passengers were the future. At the time, many in the industry believed supersonic jets would take over long-haul travel, flying people faster rather than in greater numbers. So the 747 was hedged, its wide body and high cockpit. The reason for that famous hump were designed partly so it could be converted into a freighter hauling cargo if the passenger version was made obsolete by supersonic flight. The supersonic dream faded. The 747 didn't. It entered service in 1970 and effectively invented the jumbo jet. And here's the thing the gamble actually unlocked. When you can carry hundreds of people at once instead of 100 or so, the cost of every single seat drops. You're spreading the expense of the flight, the crew, the fuel, the aircraft itself, across far more travelers. That math is what changed the world. Long-haul international travel, once a luxury reserved for the rich and the connected, started sliding into reach for ordinary middle-class families. Cities that had felt impossibly far apart, continents that were, for most people, just names on a map, suddenly became places you might actually go. The 747 didn't just move people, it quietly rewired how connected the planet felt. Wild that the plane which made the world feel small is being retired by jets that do it cheaper. Progress always quietly kills the thing that made it possible. It also became one of the most recognizable machines ever built. That double-deck hump. Those four engines slung under a massive wing. A cabin that could hold something in the range of 400 or more passengers depending on how it was configured. You didn't need to be an aviation buff to point at one and know exactly what it was. It became cultural shorthand. The big plane, the one in the movies, the one that meant you were really going somewhere. And it did more than fly holiday makers. A specially modified 747 served as Air Force One, carrying the President of the United States. Another version was adapted to carry NASA's Space Shuttle piggyback across the country. When you need a plane big enough to give a spacecraft a lift, you call the 747. It earned a nickname that stuck, the Queen of the Skies. So if it was this good, this iconic, this important, why is it ending? The answer isn't failure, it's progress. Over the decades, engine technology got dramatically better, and so did the economics of flying, with just 2 engines instead of 4. 2 engines instead of 4 generally means lower fuel burn, lower operating costs, and lower emissions per flight. For airlines counting every dollar and increasingly every ton of carbon, that's decisive. One by one, passenger 747s were quietly retired and replaced. And then came 2020, when global travel collapsed almost overnight. With planes grounded and airlines slashing costs, the oldest, thirstiest 4-engine jumbos were the obvious ones to send to the desert first. The pandemic didn't kill the 747, but it hit fast forward on a retirement that was already coming. Wild that the plane which made the world feel small is being retired by jets that do it cheaper. Progress always quietly kills the thing that made it possible. Boeing rolled the very last 747 off its production line in the 2022 to 2023 window. The final example of a plane that had been built for more than half a century. But don't mistake that for a total goodbye. The 747's origins as a possible cargo hauler turned out to be prophetic. Freighter versions of the jumbo are still hard at work right now, moving the kind of heavy, oversized cargo that keeps global trade moving. The aircraft's nose can famously swing open to swallow loads other planes simply can't take. And beyond the medal still flying, the deeper legacy is invisible. Every time you book an affordable long-haul ticket, every time crossing an ocean feels routine instead of extraordinary, you're living inside the world the 747 built. It proved that flying big could make flying cheap, and the whole industry followed that idea, even as it moved on to newer machines. That's really the honest way to see this final flight. The 747 isn't being retired because it failed. It's being retired because it succeeded so completely that it created an industry advanced enough to outgrow it. It made the world smaller, made distance feel negotiable, and then handed the future to the aircraft that came after. Wild that the plane which made the world feel small is being retired by jets that do it cheaper. Progress always quietly kills the thing that made it possible. So as the Queen of the Skies climbs out one last time and disappears into the clouds, it's worth a quiet nod to what she carried. Not just millions of passengers, but the very idea that the whole world could be within reach. A fitting farewell to a legend. If you enjoyed this one, stick around and subscribe to Brink. We're always out here exploring the edge of what's next.